Let's do a code review for our PIR sensor project so you can understand how the Python code is used to take readings from the PIR sensor. It's a very simple program. First, at the beginning, we import the GPIO library. We have seen this before. Then we import the time library, which of course allows us to introduce delays in our program. We set a variable PIR pin equal to 7 because if you remember, the signal pin on the PIR sensor was connected to pin 7 on the Raspberry Pi. We do gpio.setMode to gpio.board since we are referencing the pins by their physical location. Next up, we set the PIR pin as an input by doing gpio.setup PIR pin, passing in the gpio.in argument. The next variable is a reference variable, so we set a variable count equal to 0, and the only reason why I did this was so that when we looked in the shell, you could have seen the count incremented as the PIR sensor detected motion. This made it easy to see when a change that we introduced, such as motion, caused the PIR sensor to trigger in the shell. In our while true loop, of course this loops indefinitely once the program is running. We first take a reading of the state of the PIR pin. So there's a variable input underscore state, and we assign to that variable the value of the gpio.input PIR pin. This takes a reading of the PIR pin and stores the subsequent value in the input underscore state variable. If that input underscore state value was true, that means that motion was detected. Essentially, the PIR signal pin is low and it jumps to high if there's output from the motion sensor. When that is the case, we print motion detected, and here we are converting our count variable to a string and concatenating it into the motion detected string. That's how we're able to see motion detected 1, then 2, then 3, and so on. In this next line, we increment the count variable, so this is a shortened notation for count equal to count plus 1, and we keep incrementing every time we detect motion. We introduce a small sleep here of about 1/3 of a second between readings, and then this loops all over again. So that essentially is our program that interacts with the PIR sensor, and it allows us to take readings, and we are polling here to detect the state of when that signal pin changes from low to high to detect motion.